So the Sony A7s III just dropped, and there's a lot of hype surrounding that camera, and I myself am very excited to get my hands on it, and I already placed a pre-order for it. But this video is not centered around the Sony A7s III, rather the Sony A7 III and its viability in the year 2020. The Sony A7 III was released on April 10th, 2018, and I have used it every single week since that release date. But in order for us to figure out what role this camera plays in the mirrorless world today, we need to rewind the clock to take a look at the history of the Sony A7 lineup very briefly to understand what is so significant about that camera. Sony announced the release of the original A7 and A7R full-frame mirrorless cameras in October of 2013. This announcement sent shockwaves through the camera world as they were the first full-frame mirrorless consumer cameras on the market. The following year, Sony announced the A7s. The S in the camera's name standing for sensitivity, which relates to the Sony A7's large pixels which help let in light and reduce digital noise. By April of 2014, we had the full lineup of Sony A7 cameras. Now, here's where things get interesting. By the end of 2015, each of these cameras were given an initial update to their respective model. November 2014 for the Sony A7 II, June 2015 for the A7R II, and October 2015 for the A7s II. However, the Sony A7R series became the only camera to receive bi-yearly updates for the lineup. In October 2017, we got the R3, and in September of 2019, we got the R4. It wasn't until nearly 4 years after the release of the A7 II that we got the A7 III, and nearly 5 years after the A7s II that we got the A7s III. So what happened? During the 4 to 5 year span that we were left in the dark about the A7 III and S3, Sony had really honed in on what their priority was going to be when it comes to their cameras. Rather than putting out updates like the A7R series, Sony took its time with these cameras to truly listen to what the consumers wanted, and they delivered in impeccable fashion. The A7 III broke so many sales records that it's hard to keep track of, and every YouTuber jumped at the opportunity to put out their review of the A7 III first because of the new buzz surrounding that camera at the time. And with the announcement of the A7s III happening last week, Sony's sales are projected to surpass the Canon R5 and R6 easily. What we are seeing with the A7s III right now is exactly what we saw with the A7 III 2 years ago. Sony was patient and intentional about listening to what we, the consumer, wanted out of our camera bodies. Rather than pushing out bi-yearly updates like the R series, they waited, refined, and delivered on two of the best cameras we've ever seen hit the consumer market. So why is this all important? It's important to understand that the hype surrounding the Sony A7s III right now is because of the same methodology applied to the Sony A7 III in 2018. The Sony A7s III is a product of Sony listening to what their high-end video consumers wanted out of a camera and delivering on those results in impeccable fashion. The Sony A7 III is a product of Sony understanding that there is a wide market for creators who have a high demand for photo needs, while also needing high-quality video capabilities. We needed the best hybrid camera for photo and video, and they delivered it to us in 2018. It combines incredible photo-taking capabilities with outstanding video performance for under $2,000. And today, right now, you can get a new camera body for under $1,800. If you are someone who needs a professional photo-taking camera that is going to deliver you A+ results while also having the interest and/or need in moderate to high video production capabilities, the A7 III is still a perfect fit for you in 2020. And at less than half the cost of the A7s III that was just released, you will not find a better photo and video camera for the price tag. I really believe the Sony A7s III is a camera suited for video creators who create videos for a living. If you're someone who needs a balanced camera, the A7s III is not your camera. It's very video-centered. You're going to be able to take great photos with the camera, but that is not the camera's main priority. And you know why? Because that wasn't the consumer's main priority. We, the consumer, created the Sony A7s III. Us, those who wanted a mirrorless video camera that would meet all of our video needs that we throw at it. Sony listened to us, and we weren't concerned with the photo-taking abilities with the A7s III, but we were when it came to the A7 III in 2018. If your priority is photo-taking, with a minor or even moderate emphasis in video, you entirely should look at the Sony A7 III as opposed to the A7S III. You may have just found your camera that you want to use for the next 4 to 5 years. Thanks for taking time to listen. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you guys in the next video. Much love. Got my cute little bird shirt on today. Let's go. Okay.